and these two files are being brought to the victim machine. One is C# source code, and second is a .NET executable file. And once that gets loaded, dropped into the victim machine, then the keylogger will take the entire information about the credentials of the victim and pass it on to the hacker. Then we have the next one, that is REMCOS. Now, REMCOS is basically a remote access tool which is used again by cyber criminals that allows the attacker to control a victim system remotely. So it provides you such kind of link using COVID-19 concept. When you click on any of this link, criminals can get the complete control of your machine. And this is how the RAT works. Then we have the next scam, which was popular in March 2020, known as Agent Tesla. Now, this was again an information stealer, which was using the keylogger concept or the keylogging capabilities for stealing email credentials and passwords from browsers. So here it was actually trying to use browser exploitation. When we say browser exploitation, that means sometimes what we do, we actually open a browser and then we have multiple websites we open onto that browser, and we ask the browser to remain or to remember the passwords. Now, when we are asking the browser to remember the password for this particular site, then with the help of browser exploitation techniques, the hacker can send you a link. That link, once you click on that browser, your browser gets exploited, and the complete information about all the websites which are opening on that browser, the username for that particular website, and the password which you have stored or saved onto that browser for that particular website is being stolen by the attacker. And that is what is known as browser attacks. So that is being done by Agent Tesla. Then we have the next Phonebo. This was also very popular on the month of March 2020. This was an information stealer again, which collects the victim's sensitive information such as password credentials from browser. So again, this was a browser exploitation kind of attack. Now, how the attackers are taking advantage of this COVID-19? The scammers are actually posing as health authorities. They may offer certain cures. They may tests or other COVID-19 information they can provide you and ask you, or may try to get the information by clicking on that particular link. So websites which are actually selling fraudulent products, they are also providing you the link, and even with the name of COVID-19, you are clicking onto it and then you are compromising your data. Similarly, requesting for COVID-19 donations to non-profits, hospitals, or other organizations. So on the sympathetic terms, the people, the general innocent public is trying to provide the donation on the name of COVID-19 by these various illegitimate links. The scammers using Facebook Messenger to target the victims. So this is how the COVID-19 is coming into picture, and the attackers are taking advantage of this, trying to get the data. Now, what all prevention the user has to take onto that? The first and the foremost, keep your computer points up to date with the latest patches for Microsoft Windows. This is one thing which is very important. Your machine, your Windows should have latest patches, should be properly up to date. Avoid clicking the links in unsolicited mails, because most of the scams which we have seen was only through this unsolicited mails and the links which we are receiving it. Use sources such as legitimate government websites, up-to-date and fact-based information. Then do not reveal the personal or financial information in the email. Verify a charity's authenticity before making the donation. You can use some of the websites, some of the name of the website which we have shared with you. You can check the authenticity of the website there, and then you can decide whether you have to move with it or not. Now let's come to password security. Now we all have multiple accounts and each account has a password. And this has also been advised that always try to use a strong and easy to remember passwords. Now when we are trying to keep these passwords, we have to remember it also. Remembering means that should not be saved onto your computers, onto your mobiles, neither onto any of the notebook, but yes, it should be saved in our minds. Now, if it is not being saved properly, it can have the consequence of password attacks. Password attacks can be of three kinds: shoulder surfing, where someone is trying to see what you're typing; dictionary attack, if it is an word of English word which can be very easily identified into the dictionary, or it can be a combination of the information which you have put in various social networks. So hackers can get that data and can attempt to get your passwords. So if these kind of password attacks can happen, then we have to be very careful about keeping our passwords. Now, how to remember these passwords? Now, for remembering these passwords, it's always advisable to move to passphrase. The passphrase is nothing but a sentence where the algorithm you only have to take care of. You have to identify that algorithm, that whether you are going to select the first letter of each word, maybe the second letter, and so on, and then converting that particular letter into numeric, into a special character, and then that you can get that particular word as your passphrase, password. Now, if I see this particular statement, never judge a book by its cover, we have selected each and every letter of first letter of every word, and then we have changed it with numbers and special characters. Now, again, this is not only enough to create a password. You use the salting technique also. Now, salting is one of the techniques which can be embedded with this password, where you can identify some string which can be added on with this password which you have created it through passphrase. Because when we are making a very simple password, the hash value of that password may be identified from the internet. So if you are putting a salt mixed with that password, it will be difficult to find the hash value of it, and you will be safe after some stage. So this is how you can make your passwords safe. Now, still if you are having certain problem in remembering the password, there are online open source tools which help you to do that. There is one password safe tool is KeePass.
फेसबुक को खोला जाए इस पे
Request everyone to please put your mic off, mute your mic.
कितना मिनट
Thank you. Now we have a password safe tool known as KeePass. Now this KeePass is a free open sourced password manager. This is for Windows, and here it works for Linux, Mac OS, Android, iOS, and other systems as well. Now this password manager is divided into three groups actually. One is online, second is local, and third is mixed. Online password manager use this cloud storage to sync the data. Now in this, local password managers run on the local device and store your data, your password, onto the device by default, but not on the cloud. But when we select the mixed password manager, then it supports both the features and give the user the choice to choose suitable option. KeePass basically save the data either locally, that is by default, or if you suggest, it can pass your data, save your data onto the cloud also. It is a very secured one because here the database files are encrypted using the secure encryption algorithms like AES 256 and 2Fetch. The link is being provided here for your reference, https keypass.info. When you click on this particular link, you'll be getting the latest release of this KeePass. This is the release with 2.44, which is being done in 2020 itself. You select that and click onto it. Even you can get here the difference between the changes which has been made from 2.43 to 2.44. Now then you click on this save file. This will get saved onto your machine. And just accept the agreement and click on next. It will show you the completing the password save setup wizard. You click on finish, and this is how you are going to see the home screen. And this particular home screen, you go to file, go to new database, and then you can create your own database and you can save your passwords with different folders. So this will be the hierarchy of the folders which automatically being created by KeePass: Windows, network, internet, email, home banking, and all. And this way you can save your passwords, internet related passwords, website related passwords onto internet, email related passwords into email folder, banking related password into it. But only the thing which you need to remember is the master key. So it only asks for the master key. That one key you have to remember. The other passwords, KeePass will be remembering for you. Then we have the next very nice website known as Have I Been Pawned? This is again being suggested to check whether your email address has been compromised or not. So you can click on this particular website, haveibeenpawned.com. Here you can pass it on your email address and just click on that pawn. It will tell you whether that particular email address has been pawned or not. If it is saying you that it has been pawned, it means there is a necessity to change the password at the earliest for that particular email ID. It would also tell you from where, from which website, and in which year it has been formed. So you can go through that particular information and act accordingly. Then we have another website known as NameCheck. Now this is a website which is basically useful for general users who want to check or get the desired username or vanity URL, because it checks whether it is available onto the popular social networking websites or not. You can click on this particular website, namecheck.com. Here you can provide the username, and once you click, it will tell you that in which domains that particular username is available, and also whether that particular username is available on social networking website or not. Let's suppose we have, for example, we have checked it for CyberLearn. So here in CyberLearn, you can see that the green boxes are being stating that this CyberLearn is available on the domains with .co, .at, .us and all. It also provides the details about the usernames. So this may be available on Flickr, Pandora, Steam and all. So the dimmed ones means that particular username is already being used in these various dimmed websites. The other green ones are available for you to opt for this particular domain name or that username. Then for the developers who are very good in your code writing, who are very interested in getting the code, for them this is a very beautiful website known as Public www. This allows you to perform searches in many of the in multiple ways. If you can get HTML code, you can get JavaScript, CSS code. You can even find out who else is using your theme, identify the sites that mention you, and many more other things. So you can simply go to this Public www, this source code search engine. This provides that code here, and it will give you the complete details about that particular snippet or that particular code. Very similar to this, we have another website known as GitHub. So here in GitHub also, I think most of you are knowing about this particular site. So this again provides millions of free source code. You can just click on github.com for your own reference code. Then we have Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine is basically a digital archive of www, that is World Wide Web, founded by the Internet Archive. That it allows the user to go back in time and see what websites looked like in the past. So you can even search for the website and how it looks in 2001, 2005, if it exists at that time. So it saves that archive, the state of that particular website in the archive, and you can check it out. When you click on this particular link, https://archive.org, you can just find it out this particular homepage. You provide the name of that particular website which you want to search for and click on the browse history. Now, when you click on the browse history, it will provide you the complete details of that particular website. For example, if we search it out cdag.in, if I say https www.cdag.in and click on that particular enter, it will provide me the options of seeing in multiple years what was the state of that particular URL. So in 2020, if you see the dark green color circles, will tell you the state of a particular website screenshot for a particular given date. So if I click on this date, January 3rd, 2020, it says that there are 2 snapshots being taken of this particular website. Now, if you want to see the snapshot also, you can click on this particular one link and you can get the snapshot of that particular website on that particular date. Even we have another option of collections. So you can get the collection of multiple links, multiple tweets, the crawls of that particular website. You can even have idea of the changes which is being made in that particular website. So here you can see the boxes colored. That colored boxes means that there were certain changes made in this particular date, in this particular month and year for that particular website. And very nice thing about this Wayback Machine is that it also compares the two dates. You can even compare today's state of a particular website with 5 years back the state, and then you can compare how the website looks like 5 years before and now what all changes have been made. So if I try to compare this between the 2 years 2020 and 2019, one of the page of CDAC, here you can see some of are being colored as yellow, some are being colored in blue. So yellow means the additions has been made in this particular date, new additions, and blue means the deletion of the content onto that particular website. So here you can see how the content has been changed in a particular website. Then we have another website known as VirusTotal. Now this is a website which is again very popular in terms of analyzing the suspicious files to detect the types of malware. Now when you click on this particular link, you will be getting a home page where I am trying to test the non-malicious application. Now, while testing the non-malicious application, you click on this link, you'll be getting this home page where you will be seeing 3 options, 3 tabs. One is your file, second is your URL, and third is your search. You can even search for a particular file, pass on the file and check whether that has a malware inside it or not. Or you can also pass on a URL here and check whether this is a malicious URL or not. Let's take an example of a file by first sending the non-malicious file. So let's suppose we are going to select the file, choose file, and this is one of the file which is on my system, setup.exe. This is having no malware into it. I'm selecting this and passing it on to this VirusTotal by clicking on confirm upload. Once I am clicking, it will provide me the details that out of 72 checks, there were zero detections being identified for its malicious activity. So this is purely safe. So this is how this Navadis total is providing you the details. Let's suppose we provide a malicious application, a malicious file to this particular virus total. So again, I'm going to choose the file, click on this particular malware which I have created. So this malware, I'm giving an input to this virus total, clicking on confirm upload, and now see, I have stopped it in between only because it was taking certain time. So still it has identified that two engines have detected this file, and this is a malicious file which has a Trojan engine. So now this will tell, and if I'm able to get that this is a malicious activity, malicious file, I'm not going to click onto it, I'm not going to download to my machine, I'm not going to open that particular file. So this will help me whether that file has to be downloaded, has to be clicked or not. Now let's come to web application security, few of the things which I need to talk about. Now we know what actually a web application is, isn't it? So web application, when we talk about, is basically a branch of information security which deals with the security of web applications, web services, and websites. Now, if there is a lack of security, web applications may have certain vulnerabilities which will be used by the attackers to gain the access to either the web server or the database server. And due to these vulnerabilities, many types of attacks can be performed. Maybe such as you're stealing the session IDs, stealing the visitor information or the browsing habits, how you browse, stealing the account information, stealing the information stored in the database, maybe compromising the user accounts, and so many things. So with this, let's come to know about how to prevent from these type of attacks. Now, for preventing these type of attacks, the first thing is definitely changing the privacy settings. So if I talk about Internet Explorer, always try to delete the browsing history and turn off the pop-ups. That you can very easily do it by going to the settings, pop-up blocker, and then you can turn off that pop-up blocker. You can delete the browsing history as well. If I talk about going for Mozilla, then definitely there are certain privacy settings. There are a number of browsers you can use: Safari, Opera, then your Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Chrome, and so on. But if you ask me, my personal preference is basically to use Mozilla Firefox browser, and then you try to customize the configurations in order to boost its privacy settings. Once you have learned how to do the privacy settings, it will be the best browser which you can use it. So now when we talk about privacy settings, this is a very basic part. There are many other privacy settings, advanced one, which you have to do it. That maybe we can take it later on. But the basic part is you can go to security and then you can just check it out, check boxes according to your preference. That can be warn me when sites try to install add-ons, block the reported attack sites, block the reported web forgeries, never remember passwords for the sites, never use a master passwords. Based on that, you have to see which of the checkbox you have to click. Then we have the next concept of temporary mail. Now you will ask why this temporary mail is being here. Now, this is also known as disposable email. Now, this is basically one service that allows to receive email at a temporary address, which may be self-destructed after a certain time. It automatically gets elapsed. It may be known as step mail, it can be known as 10-minute mail, throwaway mail, fake mail, and many more other names are there. You can check it on Google also. Many of the forums, Wi-Fi owners, maybe websites and blogs ask the visitors to register before they can view the content, or they can post the comments, or if you want to download something, they ask you to register for that. Now, they may in future send the spam mails also. To avoid those spam mails in our official email addresses, it's always better to use the temporary mail. So this is the most advanced throwaway email service that always helps you avoid spam and stay safe. So this is the link which you can click onto it. And when you click on this link, you'll be getting this home page and automatically it will generate a temporary email address for you. So this is a temporary email address. You can simply copy it to the clipboard, and then you can pass it on this temporary email address to these various number of websites where they're asking you to register before you get the things done. It also provides you an inbox. So if any of the messages they are sending you, that will be coming into this particular email, and your official or your original email will be saved with these kind of spam mails. So this is one good option which you can go for. Very similar to this, we also have a maildrop.cc. Now in this maildrop.cc, you can even check or provide your own desired email address. Unlikely to this temp mail. Temp mail will automatically generate a email address for you, whereas that maildrop.cc, you can provide your own desired email and you can get that desired email for these kind of activities. Now let's come to certain browser extensions which may protect you against the hackers. The number one is Netcraft. Now this Netcraft is an extension, browser extension, which allows easy lookup of information related to the sites users visit. Now this is a browser extension which you can use it for any of the browser. That is easily available onto Google, and it will protect you from phishing and malicious JavaScript. Now what are the features of this? You can get a detailed site reports. You can get the risk ratings. Even you can conveniently report suspected sites. You can protect yourself against cross-site scripting, against phishing sites, against malicious JavaScript, and so many. So this is a good one, which is basically being used for your protection only. So how to install Netcraft? Simply go to Google, write it down, Netcraft extension. The first link, just click onto it. It will ask you whether you want to add to Chrome. You can add to Chrome, you can add to Mozilla Firefox, any of the browser that extension is available. Just click on add to Chrome, and now it automatically gets added there with N sign, with N logo. Now, whenever you are opening any of the website and you click on that N, it will provide you the complete detail of that particular website. It will maybe provide you what all malicious JavaScript is trying to open, what all links malicious it has. And other than that, it also provides you many much information. Just you click on that this link here where it is written coda.cc. This is the name of the website, a vulnerable website. When I click onto this particular link, it will show me the complete report for that particular website. So the network report, the hosting history, and all those things. And with this, you can even identify that whether you have to go to that particular further links of that website or not. Then we have Shodan. Now, Shodan is again a search engine, or it can also come it as an extension that lets the user find a specific type of computers connected to the internet using a variety of filters. You can put multiple filters and you get information about a particular website. Now, this is Shodan extension features, tells you where the website is hosted, who owns the IP, what other services and ports are open. This basically checks whether the Shodan has any information about the current website or not, and if it is having, it provides you the complete information. It also tries to tell you how many ports of that particular website is being opened. So this is very useful tool for hackers also. It gets the information about a website to hackers as well. So again, the same process. Open Google, write it down, Shodan extension. The first link, you click onto it. click on add to Chrome and or any other browser you want. And now you open a particular website, and now it will tell you that how many ports of that particular website is open. Now here you see 80 and 443 is open. That is okay because this is a website, so that HTTP and HTTPS has to be open. But with that, there are other ports also being open. If you want to get more details about it, about this particular website, just click on view host details and you will get the complete details of that particular website. What all web technologies it is using, what all server-side services it is using, what all the client-side services it is using, and so many things. So this will also help you out to identify the vulnerabilities. So CVE, when we talk about, this is nothing common vulnerabilities and exposures which is present onto the internet. So this particular website will also tell you about the common vulnerabilities and the exposure number, the unique IDs related to that particular. With this, you can understand that this is a website which has certain vulnerabilities into it, and we should not go for it. Then we have another extension known as AdBlock Plus extension. You can open Google on your web browser and can simply see what is, write down AdBlock Plus there. When you click on that AdBlock Plus, you will be getting multiple links. Click on that particular link and add as an extension. Now, when you're adding it as an extension, it gets added, and now all the pop-ups which are coming onto the website is being blocked with this AdBlock Plus. Another extension which is useful known as HTTPS Everywhere. Now, HTTPS Everywhere is basically a free and open source browser extension. Again, it is available for Google Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, Opera, Brave, maybe Android, and it is being developed by the Tor project. This is used for encrypting our traffic over websites which do not have HTTPS encryption. So again, you write it down that HTTPS Everywhere onto the Google, add that extension to the Chrome, and then once you are opening any of the website and click on that that S will be the logo which is going to be there near to your browser. You just click on that particular link, that particular logo, and you will be seeing this image where it will have two options. One is HTTPS Everywhere is on, and encrypt all sites eligible is off. Now here HTTPS Everywhere is on, but encrypt all sites eligible is off is by default off only. So what you have to do is you have to click onto it and make it on. If you are now making it on, now all the sites will be running automatically safe. So this is how you have to use HTTPS Everywhere. Then we have very nice extension known as uBlock. Now this uBlock Origin is one add-on extension that blocks unwanted scripts, pop-ups, advertisements on the website. So here with this you can have all those various blocking part which is unnecessary, which is unwanted, and also block large media elements, disable the JavaScript, and many more other things. So with this uBlock, you can simply search it onto the Google, write it down uBlock Origin, and then you will be adding it to the Chrome, and finally you will be getting this uBlock. This uBlock Origin, once it adds on to the browser, you can see a small red crest with the letters UV written onto it. If we click this Reddit, you will be getting or opening this uBlock Origin panel. Now, in this Origin panel, you can see how many requests have been blocked, how many domains were trying to connect with this, and how many featured collections this particular website has, which has been blocked by uBlock. Now, In this panel, you can see that there is a uBlock on that origin window, and the second you have the settings part, the dashboard part. Now you click the button that looks like crossfader. This crossfader is these 3 lines which is being specified here. So when you click onto this dashboard will get open. Now you try to read each and every setting here, and based on your privacy requirements, check on that checkboxes. Click on those checkboxes. One thing you have to remember that there is one option known as I am an advanced user. This is by default unchecked. Try to check it always. So when you will be checking this means that every time when you click the red crest, it will load more advanced portal with some additional options. You can also click the filter list tab. So this is the second tab known as filter list, and then tick all the boxes under the section labeled ads, privacy, malware, domains, etc. So there are many other advanced settings that you have to do it on your own, and just check it out. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me about that. Then we have a very good search engine known as DuckDuckGo. Now, why DuckDuckGo is to be used? Because it always searches privately. It blocks all the hidden third-party trackers. It encrypts the protection and never ever collect or share any personal information. So this is basically emphasizing on protecting the searcher's privacy and avoiding the filter bubble, which can be used by other search engines. It also distinguishes itself from other search engines by not profiling its users and by showing all users the same search results for a particular search term. So this is different with other search engines in this manner. It never collects any information from its service users. Now, how to use it? You can simply go to this particular link, duckduckgo.com. This screen you can see, you can add it as a Chrome. Now, when you are adding it as a Chrome, this means that you can simply set up it in any of the Chrome or Firefox browser by going to the menu option, and in the search section from the left panel, you can see, go down to default search engine and select the DuckDuckGo. Now, default DuckDuckGo will always search the content for you. So this is how we can search any of the content using DuckDuckGo search engine. Now let's move to certain prevention tips. So this is all what we have discussed. So that is being summarized with 2 prevention tips. Never open email attachments with the file extensions as VBS, SHS, PIF, etc. Even you should not open email attachments with double extensions. So again, that is the malware part. Never open web links in your email because it may lead to the phishing websites. Always try to use email transactions through secured mail sites. Never try to download anything from email when the sender is unknown to you or even the attachment has a doubtful. There may be multiple viruses which are creeping upon on a daily basis. It's always important that we should have a backup regularly for our important data files. So if anything happens, we should not lose our credential or our important data. Check always for the spelling mistakes because as I told, phishing websites will have a very similar look and feel, but definitely there will be a minor spelling mistake. So fake job offers may generally have these spelling mistakes and grammatical errors, so that you can check it out, and then based on that only you decide whether you have to go or click onto that link or not. Never trust the icons in the email attachment. The virus file may be shown as PDF file to you. Never send your photograph through email to any of the unknown persons. Even never respond to spam mails without verification of the email origin. With many of these tools which we have suggested, try to use it and find it out whether it is useful for you or not. Few more prevention tips. Always use secured web browsers which enable safe browsing over internet. Try to use browser extensions. Then turn off all JavaScript or ActiveX support in your web browser before you visit to any of the unknown websites. Keep your OS and browser software up to date with the latest versions. Optimize the browser settings to protect your device from malicious attacks. Again, this is very important. The browser settings has to be there. Try to use pop-up blockers so that the pop-ups and scripts unwanted should be blocked. Make sure that the URL of the website has HTTPS or a padlock icon. This is not 100% security, but yes, up to some extent, you can think of for a general user that this is secure. Otherwise, we have various other attacks with HTTPS and your padlock also. Then you can also clear your browsing activity on regular basis to avoid threat to confidential information. So that is one practice which you have to make it on regular basis. Try to clear your browsing activity or browsing history. With this, I must request you all to follow www.infosecawareness.in because it has n number of good content, n number of images, various prevention tips for children, for teachers, for government officials. So try to go through it and just see what all it has been there. Even I must always suggest be safe and stay healthy. This is all what about from my side. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'm open for the questions now.
Ma'am, we need the PPT. How we get the PPT?
Have you understood what I have explained?
That was very outstanding and very useful knowledge for us.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Neha ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Facebook
There is one question.
Yes.
Hello.
Ma'am, can we use this uBlock Origin for Android also?
Yes. It has an option for that.
But I suppose there is no Chrome extension for Android.
Extension is not there. Androids.
We can use it.
As a
Ma'am, Facebook वाली जो
Sorry, I could not get you, ma'am.
May I request all of you please mute your mic? Can one questions can be answered at a time? Request all the people to please mute your mics. Once the question is over, remaining people can ask the question one question. Okay, we will open for Q&A for another 10 minutes. Okay.
मेरे question है.
If at all if I am muting, no one can no question will be answered. So I request people please one by one can be asked the questions. Yeah, ma'am. I think there was one question. Okay, can you go ahead, ma'am?
Yes, my question was yes, ma'am. Neha ma'am.
I have a
You
question.
can answer.
I think you were asking about uBlock Origin.
Yes, for Android, for mobile phone.
Yeah, so uBlock Origin is actually being present for browsers in your Linux, Windows, and all. But for mobiles, you have to check it for the from the website itself. You can open uBlock Origin from the Google, and then you can check it out by providing the name of that particular website.
Yeah, because it works on the Chrome extension, and it is not available for Android, so I don't think it will work.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, extension is not available for Android.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. That was a very nice presentation. Thank you.
Question, ma'am.
Facebook में जो question आप
Sorry, please, one by one.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. मैम वो
Yes.
फेसबुक का जो आपने उस समय मैंने जो क्वेश्चन रेज किया था तो हुआ था कि पूरे सेशन के बाद पूछना है। तो वो फेसबुक में जो आपने प्राइवेसी में जो आपने कहा कि वो फोटो और पर्सनल फोटो और फ्रेंड्स वगैरह को जो भी आप ब्लॉक कर सकते हैं, मतलब रोक सकते हैं, ओनली पब्लिकली नियर या फ्रेंड को ही कर सकते हैं। तो कभी भी फेसबुक क्लोनिंग कभी भी होती है तो प्रोफाइल फोटो से होती है, क्योंकि कोई भी प्रोफाइल फोटो देख के ही पहचानता है आप हैं मैं हूं कौन है। तो प्रोफाइल फोटो को गार्ड करने का बताइए।
सर उसके लिए भी आपकी प्राइवेसी सेटिंग है, आप उसको शेयर मत करो प्राइवेसी सेटिंग्स में
प्रोफाइल
अपने।
ओनली प्रोफाइल फोटो प्राइवेसी
हाँ
सेटिंग से
जी,
ही हो जाएगी वो भी प्रोफाइल
हाँ जी,
फोटो।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, आप प्राइवेसी सेटिंग्स में जाइए, देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ ऑप्शंस वहाँ पे बहुत सारे हैं, आप उसको रीड करके अपने रिक्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग यू कैन जस्ट सिलेक्ट दैट।
ठीक, थैंक यू मैम।
Hello, ma'am. I have one question.
यस
Attended. It was one of the best
Ma'am,
session. I say thanks a lot, and we really require your PPT. It's going to be of great help for the students.
थैंक
hello,
यू।
ma'am.
Ma'am, good morning.
यस
Ma'am, I have one query. I am Brajesh Sharma from SIIT Bhopal.
ओके
Actually, ma'am, if we are using KeePass or any other particular password manager, if somebody hacked this particular repository, so it is secure to use or not, ma'am? If anybody hack completely KeePass, so our all the password.
yeah, yeah, I've told that KeePass is basically having a strong security encryption algorithm.
AES, AES.
It's yeah, AES and two-phase. So it's really difficult to hack it. So that's why we refer that you can use KeePass, but don't forget master key, because once you forget master key, you will not be able to access any of your passwords.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, I just want to know that if somebody create creates a fake passbook, Facebook account of any of my another friend, how could I come to know that from which particular origin this thing has been done?
Sorry, I
Hello.
didn't get you.
Suppose
Your
my
voice was-
one of my friend is facing a problem that his or her Facebook account has been hacked and another Facebook account has been created against his name, which is not belongs to that person, original person.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how could he come to know that who is that cheater who has done
See-
this kind of thing?
Yeah, as I've told in Facebook, that person, the scammer who's Facebook cloning, will always try to go to get the information about his friends, the victim friends, and try to contact them. Will ask them to make him accept him as a friend. If he's doing such kind of things, other persons can very easily come to know and can ask the person, or can always tell the person that there is some activity, such kind of activity going on. With this, the person can be ensured.
In addition to that, madam, and please report it at the nearest cybercrime police station, because we can only just report it is a fake thing, but at the same time better to report at this cybercrime go.in or nearest cybercrime police station, to avoid or to minimize the risk or minimize the
Yes.
मैम एक क्वेश्चन था.
yes sir, please go ahead sir. Dr. Rakesh,
क्वेश्चन था. Ma'am, I have one question.
Hello. Hello.
yes, I
Yes.
think
Hello.
Rupesh ji, can you please go ahead? Can you mute? Rupesh ji, can you please go on? Rupesh ji, you have some question?
ईमेल संबंधित मैम, एक ईमेल संबंधित क्वेश्चन था।
हाँ जी, पूछिए।
ईमेल जब आती है तो वो ईमेल फेक है या सही है, इसकी जांच का क्या प्रोसीजर? बैंक
ईमेल
से आया है?
हाँ जी, आपके पास वो ईमेल आईडी है? तो अभी सीराट ने खुद अपना एक टूल बनाया है, दैट इज ईमेल ट्रेसर। आप नेट पे सर्च करेंगे ईमेल ट्रेसर को, यू कैन गेट दैट ईमेल ट्रेसर टू। आप वहाँ पे उस ईमेल जो आपको आया है उसके बारे में आपको पता करना है, आप उसका हेडर कॉपी करके आप उस ईमेल ट्रेसर टूल में डालोगे, then it will tell you whether that email has been received from how many hops and what is the origin of that email. तो वहां से आपको डिटेल्स उस ईमेल की पता चल जाएंगे। यू कैन वेरी इजीली फाइंड आउट कि वो ईमेल जो जहां से आया है वो सही है या नहीं है। देन यू मे रिप्लाई टू इट और यू मे क्लिक ऑन एनी ऑफ द लिंक्स ऑफ दैट। यू कैन यूज ईमेल ट्रेसर फॉर इट एंड मेनी
आपने जो बनाया है मैम, उसका क्या नाम बताया है जो आपने बनाया है?
ईमेल ट्रेसर।
ईमेल ट्रेसर।
हाँ जी,
थैंक यू मैम। एक क्वेश्चन का मैम आंसर दीजिएगा
मैम। अभी के समय में मोस्टली चीजें डिजिटल है, तो मैम जैसे वेरियस प्लेटफॉर्म है और कॉमन मैन या थोड़ा टेक्निकल मैन भी, वो कितना भी अपडेट हो, बट क्या मैम कोई ऐसा सिंगल प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसमें हम किसी प्रकार की जो फ्रॉड हो रहे हो नेट पे उससे हम बच सके?
आपको उसके बारे में पता करना है, देयर एन नंबर ऑफ साइट्स। मैंने अब आपको इन्फोसेक अवेयरनेस बताया, उसको एक बार ऑलवेज ट्राई गो टू इट, उसमें आपको लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स मिलेंगे। आप सर्टिन की वेबसाइट में जा सकते हैं, आपको वहां से आपको काफी सारे अपडेट्स मिल जाएंगे। देयर इज वन साइबर इंटेलिजेंस website also, there you can get all those latest updates। तो इस तरीके से अपडेट्स को लेने पे आपको एक पर्टिकुलर वेबसाइट में सारी इंफॉर्मेशन मिले, it is difficult, but yes, sites if you check regularly, one is your certain website, you can go for your infosec awareness, you'll be up to some extent safe। तो वहाँ पे काफी प्रिवेंशन टिप्स रहते हैं जिससे कि आप अपने आप को प्रिवेंट कर सकते हो।
Hello, madam.
Hello.
Hello, madam.
Hello.
Ma'am, one question. इनकॉग्निटो मोड जो यूज करते हैं मैडम ब्राउजर में, वो कितना यूजफुल होता है?
इनकॉग्निटो मोड जो आप यूज करते हो वो नॉर्मल ब्राउजिंग से डेफिनेटली आपका आपका कुकीज सेव नहीं करता, आपकी ब्राउजिंग हिस्ट्री सेव नहीं करता, तो अप टू सम एक्सटेंट ओके। बट जब मैंने डकडगो की बात करी है, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट डकडगो, तो अगर आपने ध्यान से सुना हो तो मैंने कहा कि डकडगो इज वन ऑफ द इंटरनेट सर्च इंजन दैट प्रोटेक्टिंग सर्चर्स प्राइवेसी। तो वहां पे वो इंफॉर्मेशन जो इनकॉग्निटो विंडो के टाइम पे भी आपका कुछ पोर्शन जो सेव होती है जो डकडगो के थ्रू भी नहीं होती है। That's why I say try to use DuckDuckGo because it's much better than incognito window option as well. On?
May I ask?
Yes.
Madam, search in Google, the kind of result in the Google, will you get same result in DuckDuckGo?
Your question is not clear. Could you please repeat it?
Madam, Google, we are using Google search. The number of result we are search, will it be the same in DuckDuckGo?
Yes. There is one thing known as browser security search engine. So this DuckDuckGo is nothing but an internet search engine. So when you are whatever information you are going to provide it through searching it through Google, that is one of the search engine that you can get it from DuckDuckGo as well. So there's no as that in the difference between the information which you can receive it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
बताया था कि गूगल हमारी सारी एक्टिविटीज को देखती है, सारे हमारे ये को अगर आप यूट्यूब से नहीं हैं तो ड्राइव से नहीं है तो किसी गूगल के बहुत सारे जीमेल से बहुत सारे से आप उसका सारा डाटा आपका वो रखता है डेटा। तो आप ये हमें बताएं कि क्या गूगल के अलावा कुछ ऐसा है कि जिससे हम यूज करें और वो हमारे सारे डाटा हम अपने ड्राइव को दे देते हैं, यूट्यूब जब जाते हैं तो वो अलाउ मांगता है, मतलब एक ना कहीं से वो हमें कैच कर ही लेता है।
तो उसके लिए तो मैंने
सारी डेटा को
हाँ जी, तो आप उसके लिए अपनी प्राइवेसी सेटिंग्स पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान दीजिए। आप उस पे ब्राउजर की जो सेटिंग्स है आप
सेटिंग जो है प्राइवेसी के बारे में बता रहे हैं, तो जब ये गूगल का एक सिस्टम है कि अगर एक में आपने प्राइवेसी ऑन नहीं किया तो वो दूसरा उसका जो भी उसका एप्स है वो यूज करते समय वो मैंडेटरी कर देता है, फिर वो डालेंगे तो ही वो चलता है। जैसे जीमेल है, ड्राइव है, यूट्यूब है, ये गूगल के सारे जो इतने काइंड्स हैं वो किसी न किसी से अल्टरनेट रहते हैं कि इसमें ऑन है तो उसमें ऑफ रहेगा, उसमें अगर आपने नहीं दिया है तो उसमें देना होगा, तो कहीं ना कहीं से तो वो ले ही लेता है और देना भी पड़ जाता है।
हाँ जी सर, से कई बार
ईमेल पर अभी जस्ट जैसे कि ड्राइव पर आप कोई चीज ऑन नहीं किए हुए हैं, ऑफ रखे हैं, तो जैसे आप फोटो डाउनलोड करेंगे ईमेल से तो ईमेल में आपने उसको ऑफ करके रखा है, लेकिन ड्राइव में उसको ले जाना है प्रिंट के लिए या कुछ के लिए तो वो अलाउ मांगने लगता है। तो कहीं ना कहीं से आपके पूरे वो सिस्टम को लेता है। इसका क्या ऑप्शन है?
नहीं सर, कई लोग क्या करते हैं ना, हमेशा उसको ऑन करके रखते हैं। एडवाइजेबल आपको जब जरूरत है आप उसी समय उसको ऑन करो, उसको यूज करो एंड देन स्विच इट ऑफ। मैंने कई बार देखा है आप लोग की सेटिंग्स एक बार तो आप सालों पहले कर देते थे, उसके बाद उसको चेंज ही नहीं करते। दैट इज नॉट द राइट वे। आप उसको यूज करो, उसके बाद आप उसकी जो आपकी सेटिंग्स है उसको चेंज करो। सो वंस यू आर चेंजिंग द सेटिंग्स यू आर अप टू सम एक्सटेंट सिक्योर। सो दिस इज वन थिंग व्हिच यू नीड टू रिमेंबर।
वो तो पीछे से लेके नाउ टिल तक का तो सारा डेटा मेरा ले लेगा ना वो।
नहीं सर, उसी समय आपने उसी पर्टिकुलर सर्विस के लिए उसको ऑन किया होगा ना,
ऑन किया, लेकिन वो तो ले लेगा जितना अभी तक स्टोर है वो सारे डाटा को ले लेगा। वो तो कनेक्ट रहता है, वो जो ऐसा देखा भी गया है, गूगल ड्राइव में ऑलरेडी सारे फोटो फिर चले जाते हैं।
Sir, that is what madam is telling very clearly. Okay, if at all what is the data you are keeping in the Google, or what is that you are saving? Okay, you have to be careful at every step. You have to protect your data at every point of time. If it is too critical, too essential, we should not keep that information at any cost on online. Okay, whatever the information which you will be using frequently, that data only you can keep it. And if you want to keep any critical information, there are so many tools which are available. See, for example, if you have a critical data where you want to use it, you have DigiLocker is there in India, okay, which is by the government of India, where you can store all your data if you want. And if you feel like whichever the critical, you don't share it. Whichever the data you will be using it regularly, that only you can store it and you can use it as your purposes. So please read all the privacy settings and everywhere. Then only you will understand like what is safe, what is not safe. Okay, madam told you very clearly like how do you safeguard all your data, and she also told very clearly what are the settings you have to maintain at each and every step. Okay, you are supposed to do 10 steps and you've done only 8 steps. And if you are not doing the remaining 2 steps, yes, 100% chances. Okay, so no one can give you any assurance for any of your data. Okay, if there are anything, please mail to us at iec@cdoc.in so that we can answer. And otherwise, thank you very much, madam.
Hello.
This is the last question, please.
May I ask? Yeah,
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
yes, he was using Facebook. His account was hacked, and the hacker changed profile and changed the profile photo, profile data, and he didn't change any other data except profile photograph and some profile data. And my friend actually he filed a serious petition, and he also contacted Facebook. He could not able to contact Facebook, but contacted a police station. He could not able to restore that particular account, so he had to open a new account with his name. Then, ma'am, actually, how to? Is there any option to restore that original account? And second question is,
How to? Second question, please, again.
how to prevent such kind of hacking of Facebook account?
See, I have already covered that Facebook cloning. That Facebook cloning, you have multiple steps. So I think I will be sharing my slides on Facebook cloning, and you can go through that Facebook cloning part. The first question which you talk about is how to, is there any other way to, other than the creation of a new account? See, it's always safer side that you should create the new account if it is already being hacked, and also tell to your friends which are being there in the Facebook that this is how the things are happening. And you should always try to alert the people by telling these various options settings to be made. If these settings will be there, definitely Facebook cloning will not take place. And if still it is happening, one thing you can talk to cyber crime, that you can lodge a complaint to cyber crime. You can block that particular contact, ask your friends to block that, don't accept the friend request. And the safer side is open a new account and then try to get the friends list with proper privacy setting of Facebook cloning, which we have discussed.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Madam, I'm from BSNL. I have two simple questions. Actually, generally, we use different browsers where we will see so many add-ons used to get enabled. What is advisable, whether we should enable all these add-ons? Or second question is, when we are using any antivirus in our laptop or desktop, these are all trusted antivirus. They used to give us some password vaults, like you can store your email password, your any account's password. What is the advice for that? Whether we should use the antivirus password vault or a separate one?
See, related to the first question which talked about browser extension, I must not advise to simply use or add on the multiple browser extensions without having an information about it. Some of the browser extensions even I also have shared. So those browser extensions have been shared after getting a lot many information about it. So this is secure. This is not having a practice or history of stealing the information, compromising the information. That's why I have shared it here. So you can use this few of the browser extensions like Netcraft, Jodan, AdBlock Plus. So these can be used, but other, if you are trying to use it, please first go through the complete information about that browser extension. Just check the review of that browser extension add-ons, and then only you should try to use it. With regard to the second question which you talk about, I must suggest that never ever try to save these passwords in any of the such kind of password managers. Or if you're trying to use it, try to find it out some secure encryption algorithm, password monitoring or password manager, which will be able to secure your password in an encrypted form very securely. So one of the only password manager I have discovered is KeePass. There are n number of other password managers, but again, you have to find out the information about it and then only you can use it. So this is one advice from my side. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you explain about the usage of Zoom app, ma'am? Zoom app, ma'am. Can you explain?
What?
Usage of Zoom application for
See,
video
already
conferencing.
we are seeing lot many news about Zoom. I think in most of the webinars we have discussed the Zoom app vulnerabilities. So we cannot say any of this type of application, video conferencing application, is secure or safe. One or the other application has certain information. Up to some extent, they are actually taking your data and trying to save it, to share it with others also. So the similar case is with Zoom also. So Zoom app is basically one of the application which is having a option of taking the entire information of the participants, their information about the information of username and passwords. Maybe they are installing certain malwares while you're using that Zoom app. Maybe they are trying to take the IP addresses of that machines which is being using this Zoom app, and then they are sharing it with others. So Zoom app is already being said that it's not advisable. The government of India has also advised that Zoom app should not be used as a video conferencing because of certain vulnerabilities.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I think I request all the participants, please mute your mics. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your detailed, enlightened session and patiently answering all the questions. I think it is more than continuously you are there, like without taking water also, you are continuously speaking for last 2 hours. And we thank you very much for your continuous and energetic session. I think from starting to ending, the voice remains same, madam. Okay. Thank you very much for your energetic and enlightening, detailed session, and patiently answering all the questions. I think our national builder is giving some impression. Of course, like there are so many people who shared their views in our chat box. And we also thank all the viewers for actively participating and sharing all your thoughts on various aspects. We hope like most of your questions are answered, but still, if there are anything, Madam has shared like 1800 425 6235, the toll-free number. You can reach us so that any of our experts are there, like they will be able to answer your questions. You may reach on our toll-free number 1800 425 6235. Okay, that's our ISA toll-free number. Where like we will be not able to give you the complete solution, at least we will be able to tell you like what you have to do. Okay, so up to that extent we will be able to help you out. And as Madam shared, like all the information you can access it in infosecawareness.in for more information in that regard. And once again, we thank you, Madam Neha Vajpayee ma'am, Dr. Neha Vajpayee ma'am, for your detailed and enlightening session. And for all the viewers also, thank you so much. Signing off, and we will see you on Thursday, and we will be having one more eminent person. He is a practitioner right now. He is an SP Cybercrimes. He is going to address to all of us on Thursday, same timings. Okay, and till then, take care and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdish and Dr. Neha Vajpayee.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.